Oh, Jeff. Oh, Jeff. Kevin X. Back at you again. Hope you're having a nice evening out there. I am. Yeah, having a good time. Starting this video concerning Noah and Noah's Ark. Noah did not exist and neither did the ark. This is why they can't find it. And we have to stop trying to tell our kids that a flood actually happened and God created the earth in 4004 BC. We are older than people than that. We have African kingdoms and people all different places of the world that was happening way before 4004 BC. Somebody has lied to us and we need to get on top of the lie. Wondering why we believe that the Bible is true. The Bible is the greatest lie ever told. You know, nobody in the Bible ever existed. None of the events in the Bible ever existed. Now, I'm going to start off with the generations of Adam, which is also a lie. But it's saying, this is the key point. This is 4004 BC where God created Adam. And it says, this is the book of the generations of Adams in the day that God created man, and in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their names Adam, and in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begot a son in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. That's a story that they get from Osiris and Seth. Osar and Seth. Osar means to rise, and Seth means for the sun to set. But we already have that African story. But I'll get into that at another time. And Seth lived 105 years and begot Enos. And Seth lived, after he begot Enos, 807 years, and he begot sons and daughters. People don't live to be 800 years old. That's bullshit. And I'm going to move from that, and I'm going to go to, this is still chapter 5, but I'm going to go to verse 29. And he called his name Noah, saying, this name shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begot Noah 595 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 770 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. People is not making babies being over 100 years old. That's bullshit. You know, this is some story. They trying to convince people that, have you seen a 100-year-old person out here making babies? You know, that is a ridiculous story. And they try to get you to think that these fake people actually lived to be 800-900 years old. And that did not happen. And Noah, being 500 years old, God gonna give him an assignment to build a boat. Why not his sons? They much younger. But it's a myth story, and we have to keep that in mind. But I can guarantee you, 500, 600, 700-year-old men do not build boats. But let's go on with the story. I'm going to go to chapter 6. It says, and it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth. You notice in this, it says, and it came to pass. They say these words as it came to pass, or they'll say something like, in those days, things of that nature, to get you and I to think that this actually happened. It did not actually happen. They use these words to get you and I to think that they happened. So be very careful when you be reading this. And get a Bible that has dates in it so you can compare. Then you'll see how silly that they really sound. Then it goes on to chapter 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. Now God already has sons, so what is the purpose of sacrificing Jesus? Why couldn't he sacrifice any of these other sons that was having sex with these women? Well, the sons went into him, that means sex. And they were fair, and they took them wives of which they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Now he mad at the man because the man done had some beautiful damn daughters. And now his damn sons was supposed to be angels. There's no such thing as angels. They came down and had sex with these beautiful women. They're only talking about the rape of African women and how beautiful they were and how they went into that land and raped them. And never ever planned on telling that woman that she was the goddess all along. And that's why they had to create these fake stories. So she could never know who she really is. But we're going to continue. Chapter 4, down it says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old men. Now, these angels done had kids by these women. And now God is getting upset. Now he want to flood the whole world. And God saw, this is verse 5, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. You notice they don't tell you what the wickedness stuff that the man was doing. It's the angels were supposed to have been doing this wickedness because they was having sex. There's nothing wrong with having sex. That's what you're here for, to produce. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's not a sin. And you don't have to be married to have sex. You know? I'm going to have sex until I can't have it no more. And I don't give a fuck about getting married. That's bullshit. You're here to produce. I'm not trying to make any more kids, though, but, you know, a little too old for that. But I have 4 beautiful ones. But let's go on with this story. It says, and it repented the Lord. This is 6, verse 6. In chapter 6 of Genesis, and it repented the Lord that he made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and the beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me, and I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. The Lord didn't find grace in the eyes of the Lord. The Lord didn't find grace in the eyes of Noah, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. So God must have had 2 feet. But I'm not going to read the generations. We know about the generations. But what I want to get into, I'm going to move to the next chapter. And the Lord said unto Moses, no, I'm not going to start from the first chapter. I'm going to start from the 19th chapter. It says, and the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. This is in 2349 BC. He done took them about 3 years to actually flood the world. Maybe a little bit more. Actually more, because he started out with this flood in 2353, and he wasn't finished building this boat until 2349 BC. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail. 15 cubits upward did the water prevail, and the mountains were covered. 15 cubits of water. 1 cubit is 1.5 feet. Times 15 is 22.5 feet of water. That's about the height of your average house or the height of a 2-story apartment. Mount Everest is 29,900 feet. God had a 900-year-old man build a 3-deck boat for this little bit of water. It's ridiculous. It never existed. That's ridiculous. You know, it's a fine story if you're a child. You know, you can't flood the world with that little bit of water. But somebody had the nerve to actually write this in a story and really tell you how ridiculous the people was at this time writing this book. Trying to write it right. You know, they trying to put themselves, and they went through a lot trying to put these dates in the Bible and make it seem real that they just messed up. But I give them an effort, though, because they tried to put themselves in Egypt dynasties that they were not in. And then they even made a movie called The Ten Commandments, and all these white people was dressed up like ancient black people, the true Egyptians. But some black folks, you can't tell that, because I look on YouTube and Facebook, and I still see black folks, they'll put up pictures of a white Jesus with his mother or this and that. They be wanting likes to see how many more assholes they got that's following them, that still following these white people, because it's impossible to worship these white gods and not be in fear of white people. And then you want to be around black people, but you got white people pictures hanging up in your house. That pisses me off. Because a lot of black people still got Jesus in the Last Supper hung up. It's nothing but the sun and the six constellations on each side. That's all it is. 6 constellations on each side. It's nothing but the sun moving through the 12 constellations. You know? From January to June is 6 months. The sun sits in between that. And then from that, you have July to December. And the sun sits in the middle of that. And that's all that is. But just to put something on you, something for you to pass down to your children and grandchildren, so they don't be brainwashed like we were. But get a book and go through them with the Bible dates. And when you get dictionaries, try to get the World Dictionary. Try to get that. It's a nice dictionary from A to K. You know, it has more definitions than the little book that you would get them for school. You know, and we need to stop teaching this madness to our kids, what I often say. But nobody in the Bible ever existed. And I'm just trying to debunk Noah's story, which I think I should have done a good job if people would read it. You can't flood the earth with 15 cubits of water, 24 feet of water. It's ridiculous. Mount Everest is 29,900 feet. That little bit of water did not cover that mountain. That is a lie. And it's more lies in the Bible. Be careful of them. And if anybody be careful who you keep your kids around, because a lot of people that's talking about, you know, they're inspired by God, they are also out here molesting kids. I actually seen a post on Facebook not too long ago of a man in Florida raping these twin girls, and he had been doing it for over a year, and the mother knew about it. He'd been molesting these twin girls for over a year, a black guy. You know, and most likely he told them, if they told anybody, that they were going to go to hell. Till next time, food for thought, Hotep. Stick that in your pipe.